For the flooring that we use, it's honestly pretty simple. It's a floating floor, so it's simply just a matter of laying out your boards and snapping them together, and then making sure that your seams are joined together. And yeah, I mean, it's not rocket science, but you definitely we do a pattern here in thirds, so you definitely have to keep up with that. And also just with the flooring that we use, it's kind of like this grayish color. You have to alternate between the darker pieces and the lighter pieces. So some of the challenges that they've had, and maybe not this house in particular, but especially the ones outside, the joints here where the plywood got wet, they eventually kind of just went up like this because of that moisture that it was exposed to. So they had to get belt sanders and sand those down. And then, as always, whenever you do drywall and you do your mudding and your texturing, you drop mud on the ground. So that's something that you have to scrape up. So I'd say that that's only the really challenging part, is making sure that you have a smooth surface to work on, because if there's anything underneath that creates some sort of bump, if you're barefoot, you're going to feel it. I think with the flooring, it's slow and steady, maintaining a good rhythm, especially if you're working with a partner. Having one person make the cuts and one person attaching the pieces is really helpful. Definitely not rushing through it. Unfortunately, this is one of those jobs where if you get a cut wrong, you're really going to be able to tell. You really shouldn't be able to use a piece like that. It won't. Unless if it's hidden underneath the baseboard and it's a last cut, like a side cut, like it's going to be noticeable. It's going to, you're going to be able to see it. And if you're walking around barefoot and you really like messed up an edge or something, like it'll be lifted up and you could probably hurt yourself. So yeah, just lift up the two pieces together on the last row, just lift them up together. So one on one side, one, and just lift them up and just pull it back. So that way you can just take out that one piece and then put it back, and then you can just lift this up together and just put it back. I feel like that should be not too hard of a fix. So yeah, maybe there's something's wrong with the groove or something and it just pushed it out. I don't think it's anything that you guys did. It might just be a crummy board. Yeah, so because it is a floating floor, that just basically means that our floor can move around. So my students got some of these spacers, and it's just basically giving us a 1/4 inch of a gap, and that's right here. They just go between the drywall, and that is because of the contraction and expansion that happens naturally in homes. So granted that they're not wooden panels, they may not expand and contract a lot, but there's still going to be some expansion and contraction. So we're just trying to take account of that just in case. If you did put it all the way up to the wall and it was really tight, if there was a lot of moisture in the air, and once it's gone, it'll cause your seams to buckle, and so that you'll have like lifted up boards. So yeah, that's the purpose for having these here. And there was another part of your question. What was it?
Thirds.
Oh, the thirds. Yeah, so let's see. So you can see here the pattern that we're following is this first piece here is one whole piece. So that's at 48 inches. Our second piece is cut at 32. And our last piece that's under your foot is at 16. So it's thirds. So longest, next longest, and then the shortest. And then we'll just continue that pattern. So it's kind of like a brick pattern almost. But it's just to give it like a aesthetic, nice look, you know. If you do it just like one long piece and then a half piece and then a long piece and a half piece, it's just not as nice. So the nice thing with having this light here on the floor is that you can actually see it. We don't even have to go and touch it. But for example, as I was saying before, if you were barefoot, see, you can see that it's casting a shadow here. This one is lifted up. So the guys already lifted up the flooring. They checked. There's nothing underneath it. There's no piece of trash or anything underneath. So it's not causing that. So it might just be that this board, the lip may have been broken on it or something. So when they attached it, it's just lifting it up. And it doesn't look like much, but like I said, if I was barefoot, I would absolutely feel that, and I could potentially cut the bottom of my foot.
This house and square.
Flooring, I mean, it's really not that hard. And in this space, because it's just a little office unit, it's not like they have to make any crazy cuts. It won't be until our second and third build where they're having to put pieces in between cabinetry or around like a wall or something, like an interior wall. It's pretty simple, but I'd say definitely being patient, making sure that you have good measurements and that you're making really nice straight cuts. Flooring is probably one of the simplest things that we can do.